Hey folks, how you doing? How you doing? I'm September, also known as 9 of 12. Now it's been a little bit. I've been having some health issues that prevented me from streaming because my skin freaked out and decided you're allergic to water. That's what the urgent care doc said, but I'm going to be seeing my primary tomorrow, so maybe we can get some other answers. So what I'm going to be doing today is making my papa's hot sauce. Now, it's not like hot sauce like vinegar based in a bottle for putting on your wings, but we always called it was hot sauce. And we always had a jar in the fridge. Like instead of ketchup, it's sugar, vinegar, tomatoes, onions, peppers. It's a chili sauce, basically. And man, I love this stuff. I grew up with it, like I said. And for years, I didn't have the recipe, and I tried to um, emulate it and figure it out, and I could not. And then I guess through family rumors and stuff, my aunt um, found out I was looking for it and sent me some stuff. She sent me my papa's kielbasa recipe and um, the hot sauce recipe. And so ever since I've been making it, and I'm out right now. And I can't believe, oh, I hate that I run out. I mean, I didn't have it for like decades. But now that I know how to make it, I kind of keep it in the fridge. It's really good on eggs, on potatoes, on, like, I put it on so many things. It is a good ketchup replacement. You can make it, as spicy or as mild as you want. Um, yeah. So, I've been waiting for like tomatoes to come in season. I like to do it that way with like local ingredients. Um, I grow the peppers more often than not. Um, it calls for red hot peppers. Um, Generally, that's, a cayenne. I do have some cayennes that are dried from a previous garden. Mine didn't survive this year. And I'm going to add some jalapenos because those do work really well in it. When I was initially experimenting with the recipe, let me make sure my mic's working. Um, I thought it was cherry peppers, but I guess I misremembered, or, I'd probably never seen it made. I was a child. Um, some of my homegrown cayennes I'm going to use. Um, and cherry peppers are something mm, I used to eat, like my mom, we like to have them pickled and stuffed with cheese and that kind of thing. And we use them in a recipe that's kind of like that cheesy, you use Velveeta and Rotel, right? I grew up with something, a neighbor's recipe for fondue that was Velveeta, but we started, with a tomato and onions and cherry peppers and sauteing that to make a cheese dip, and eat that with Fritos, which is an awesome comfort food for me still to this day, but I do kind of cheat with Rotel a lot. But tomatoes have been, man, the local markets have not had, I mean, even a bigger farm that has a truck full of, peaches and corn or whatever, has had like a small flat with a handful of tomatoes. Um, and I've been reading on a lot of I'm in North Carolina, local gardening sites that they're just taking forever to ripen. We had a really hot, dry spell, and now it's hot and wet. So maybe some of these tomatoes will start ripening. But I was at the grocery store and I saw a big pile of plum tomatoes. I like to use the Roma tomatoes for this. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I didn't get to stream for a little bit. So I want to share my papa's recipe with you. I sold it at a farmer's market last year. Not a farmer's market. It was like a craft market at the coffee shop where I sell some of my jewelry and etched items. And um, I sold some, and there was a hot dog cart there. And I'm still hoping to hear from that guy because he was like, brought me my hot dogs. Like, what do you want on it? I'm like, I got my own stuff because I was given samples and I put some on and it was good. I love it on a hot dog. And he asked me about it, and I gave him some, and they tried it, and then he's like, "Could you make big batches of this?" Well, yes, I could. So I'm still hoping to hear from him because I would be overjoyed to like be making it for some, local small business hot dog cart guy and it become a thing. Like it's the only place you can get it and people finding it and like for a recipe that like is such a taste of my childhood and my family history and took me so long to get and be able to have in my house again, like to do Papa proud, along with making his kielbasa recipe. So I'm gonna glove up when I deal with the tomatoes, because I'm supposed to still not be getting my hands wet too much, and there is very wet. So we'll talk about the prep for the tomatoes and onions and things in a minute. But first, I'll give a little time for people to pop in. Hopefully you do. Oh my gosh, we're going 10 minutes already. Blah, blah, blah. Let me talk about what we're going to do, though. I'm going to tell you a few things that have been going on and that I have here. Um, I'm going to get this all prepped and cooking. And that, hopefully around an hour like I usually do for stream. And then I'm giving blood this afternoon. Um, and I'll come back because it takes like usually about 4 hours to simmer down. Um, you boil it down to the thickness you want. And um, then while it's still hot, you jar it up. And the jars are hot enough that they self-seal and you don't have to can it. So I know that's a safety concern, and I've talked to people about it, and the recipe just says you don't have to, it'll seal. So I have a friend online, um, Bantha Fodder, in the Frog Pants community, who I sent the recipe to, who's more uh, into, well, not into, like I'm into it too, but like doing the science of it, right? And he did the pH test to see whether the acidity was high enough that that's not a concern and you can go without canning it. Now, of course, you can just can it. It's already cooked down for hours and hours. It's not going to affect the product to can it afterward. A water bath canning for like 10 minutes, it's fine. Um, but I've always made it without canning it until a couple years ago. And even though it was tested as safe enough, as long as it seals, of course, I usually would take whatever doesn't seal and just put that in the fridge, and that's what I eat right away. But um, now I've been like, I'll re-clean the jar and put on a new lid and go. I've canned whole batches. I've canned the ones that didn't seal on their own, because maybe the heat wasn't enough when I poured it in the jar. Um, but we'll can later in the day. I'm going to do another stream after I'm back from giving blood for the first time again. Thank you, uh, Red Cross, for clearing my name. And um, we'll jar it up later. So, now what? What did I learn while I was gone? I learned about elephant garlic. I don't think the camera really can appreciate how forward it does, how big this is. I got an elephant garlic from the locals farmers market, and I had never actually used elephant garlic before. And in uh, doing some research to figure out how I wanted to use it, and how different it is from garlic, I found out it's not garlic. It's not garlic. It's not just a big garlic. I was like, is it going to be mild? Is it going to be nuttier? Is it going to be hotter? What's the deal? And I found out it's actually related to a leek. Excuse me. It's not truly a garlic. And that was really interesting because, I mean, the form factor, it's even got the hard stem. It looks just like garlic. So to play with it, what I did was we had steaks the other night, and I made mashed potatoes from the potatoes I have left rescued from the pantry. And what I did is I took one of these big old cloves and I cut off the root end. And like when I roast garlic, um, I just wrapped it in some tin foil and I threw it in sprayed a little oil on it and put it in the toaster oven for probably about 20 minutes and roasted it. And then I uh, mashed it up real fine and I mix it in those mashed potatoes. It was so good. It really does have a mild leek onion type flavor. And just mixing like one big fat clove into a big batch of mashed potatoes gave it a little something something. Everybody was like, these are so delicious. Not everybody. The members of my family that do eat mashed potatoes were like, these are so good. And we love a garlic mash, but it is totally a different flavor and it's awesome. I'm thinking about picking up a leek because I want to go look for some pork belly later because I've got a little mashed potato left and I like to make potato soup with leftover mashed potatoes. And so that would just be a nice it'll add a layer to a potato leek soup. Um, although who knows, by the time I get later, they might be gone. We also had leftover mashed potatoes for dinner last night. What else? Look at these. So my friends Barry and Bobby Ann from the Frog Pants community wanted me to etch some glasses for them. Bobby Ann does a raccoon rescue, and I did end up etching different glasses with raccoons on them that are very cute. But they wanted me to etch these ones, and they didn't work. I've had this happen a couple times. I had it happen with some pie plates. I had to have some glasses that had a coating on them that made them like almost rainbowy. But I don't know why these didn't work. I tried to etch them with my etching cream and I don't know. But they're these really neat. So this mini glass has these teeny holes in it. And you pour your wine in and it goes out those holes and then fills the main part of the glass. So it basically aerates your wine so that you have to wait around or decant it into a decanter to get it to properly breathe. And they let me keep them because to ship them back, yeah. It was gonna cost, what it ended up costing me to ship them back, the ones I did successfully make. So unfortunately, I couldn't etch these, um, but I love that I have them now. This is a great idea. It's something I wouldn't have bought for myself, um, I don't think. Um, Rob made the funniest joke. He was like, "Why is there a little wine glass in your wine glass?" And I explained what it does, and he's like, "Oh, because you can't wait to drink the wine." Yeah. Nobody's got time to wait around like that. That's how I told Barry. I'm like, thank you. I'm going to use these um, and really enjoy. I bought a bottle of wine last week that I'm really excited about. I would normally not pay the kind of money I paid for this. Beautiful looking red. And um, we talked about it while I was in the wine shop because Barry's quite the wine expert. And I'm going to use the new glasses so that I have properly, pardon me, let this fancy wine breathe. I don't know when I'm going to drink it yet. Oh, hi. Watch some Cars while I stream? Like the movie Cars? What kind of Cars? Bad Poor? Whose real name I forget, but that's okay. And I got a new apron. It's really cool. It's got like leather and pockets. I should probably move my mic. Ugh. But yeah, this was like, I was looking for a new apron because some of mine are kind of beat. And I love grommets and leather and they had it black and um, it's like $7 or something. So I was like, well, how bad can it be? And it's great. It's nice and long. It goes down below my knees. It's a nice thick like canvas duck material. It crosses over in the back and it's adjustable with this leather thing. I haven't used it in practice yet, but I have high hopes. And I can do cool stuff. I have a Harley Quinn patch. I'm thinking about adding to this pocket right here. Um, it's got these little um, leather tabs. I could put a Sharpie on there. I like pockets in my aprons. My little French maid one is cool, but it's meh. You put a spoon in a pocket. I use my spoon I used for my Aquilo cosplay today. Okay, let's see. We're going to start with the onions. I'm going to use a food processor to mince those up. It calls for 6 medium onions. Yeah, I know. That's a little vague. These are bigger than medium. 2. This one will be nice. 3. I'm going to go ahead and go with 4. I think. Yeah. Because these are large. They're not gigantic, but they are large. I've used Vidalias in this, but I tend to just get regular yellow cooking onions because I figure that's what my papa used. I'm going to be using my Morena sugar that I pretty much use for everything. But I have tested with both. When I first started making it, I'm like, okay, yellow onions, white sugar. Like I feel I do have enough memory of my grandparents', kitchen to know that there weren't, fancy ingredients hanging around. And that's probably what initially I was eating. Wow, this onion wants to just come apart. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't need to totally mix these up. I'm going to use my food processor. Let's move this closer. So I don't think I'm going to sell any of this batch. I do gift it to friends often. This is another like awesome little I don't know, let's say this. It is a cool part of being my friend. Um, I may not spend a lot of money on fancy gifts, but I love to give away. I'll bring you some jam or hot sauce or spice rubs or herb blends. As a last minute, that reminds me it's Sandra's birthday. Note to self, text Sandra later. Happy birthday if you're here, my friend. Okay, I don't want to overcrowd this and end up with it not chopping well, so I'm going to chop some of this now and then do the other 2 separate. You want a pretty good chop? Yeah, that didn't chop as much as I wanted. Oh, it's okay. I can pull out the big ones. You can just mince this up. I have found, if you've seen the paper towel trick, if you put a wet paper towel near where you're cutting onions, it can help with the crying. You don't want a full paste on this, just a real good mince. And you're going to be cooking this like for hours, so it's not going to completely dissolve, but they will break down a good bit. We're just getting as much flavor as we can out of here right now. I need a bigger spatula. Hold on. Jack to the rescue. Oh, you can't see. I'm putting this just in a big pot over here for when we start boiling down. After I get the food processor put away, I'll get out the hot plate and put the pot out and start putting other ingredients in. I could just do the peppers at the same time here. I think I will. It calls for 8 to 10 red hot peppers with seeds. Now I'm using dried ones, so it is going to take a while to hydrate and then cook those. I'm going to use 2 jalapenos. I'm going to take out some of the pith just so that we're not adding a bitter element, but I'm not worried about getting the seeds out because we want that heat. And then the red hots. These are dried, 8 to 10, right? So let's go with like nice redder ones that dried properly. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to count on them being a little more concentrated than they would be had I not dried them. You can, of course, use red ones. You can use any pepper you want. But like I said, red hots, which work just fine. I could put these in my grinder. I am going to give them a head start with chopping them up because the dense, dried texture I don't want breaking down and then but still being huge hunks that you come across in your hot sauce, although that's not. Some of us like it. Was that paper from the onion? No. I don't mind it a little spicy, and my picky part of the family doesn't eat as much as this as I do anyway, so. I didn't put my paper towel out, even though I gave you that great tip. So my eyes are getting a smidge irritated. Be quick with your onions. What else has everybody been up to? I've been playing my friend Shane's game. Speaking of my buddy in the chat here, did you want to try that game? I'm pretty sure I can get you a copy. I did already give away the one I was buying to someone else, but I think Shane will. Give me a code, and then it'll be another opportunity for him to addend that it's been played on a system with your specs. Apparently, the listed specs are just ones that's already been played on. So please let me know. It's super fun. It is super fun game. I'm bad, but I'm also old. Like I'm better at the puzzle part, and then I have trouble with like the, gamified, the platformy stuff. Not my strong suit. But even given that, just a beautiful, fun time. And it's only like $10 on Steam, folks. If you go to gyro/thegame.com, you can see a little bit about it, or just search for it on Steam. My buddy spent like 10 years making this game. I haven't known him 10 years yet. Almost, I think. Well, no. We were at Nerdtacular 17 together, but at the same time, but we didn't meet until some years later, a couple years later in Vegas at a meetup. All right, this is my last onion all getting in, and then I'll talk to you about the tomatoes and what we did to prepare them. Cool. Oh, you're at work? So is watching cars a work thing? I don't know what you do for a living. Wash? Did you say wash or watch? I might have misread what you said, because I'm a genius. Well, and my phone's over there. Little bitty. Oh, hey, you know what you're going to need, September? A blade in your food processor to cut things. I'm going to take this little hunk of core out here. That's not helping anybody. And hopefully, my sons follow my directions I gave them last night and run some jars through the dishwasher, or at least empty the dishwasher so I can run jars. I find for canning, that's a really great, nice shortcut, like to get them all nice and hot and rinsed and ready to go, is just throw them in the dishwasher so that, you know, you're taking them out still warm to do your canning. That's better. I had my apron on wrong. Oh, that's better. It's a new thing because it goes around in different ways than my other one did. All right. So here's all our onions and peppers. I'm gonna get the food processor put away, or just back away out of this room. Out of my face. And I feel like it can take more peppers than that, but I don't want to overdo it because I can, you know, adjust it later after it's reducing and I'm tasting. Sometimes I do 2 batches to make an extra hot one on purpose, but I'm not going to mess with all that today. All right. Hot to plate. Everything should fit in this pan. I got out one of my Calphalon set that my son gave me. All right, let's talk about tomato prep. So, preparing tomatoes for canning or making. Oh, okay. Car washing, cool. I've tried to get my kids to apply at a place who needs a job. To get going on that. So, let's put gloves on. Most of my life, for canning tomatoes, making sauce, that kind of thing, whenever I'm not using pre-canned tomatoes, and, you know, of course, doing the hot sauce, I did a thing, and it is a great trick, perfectly fine, where you take your tomatoes. Sorry, my nails are giving me a problem. I want to get them taken off. They're fake ones I got for the trip, but I can't get those chemicals near all my broken skin right now. So you there's the stem end of your tomato. Hold on. Okay. My friend who's living in a hotel needs some laundry done. Cool. I'll go pick those up when I give blood. Yeah. So anyway, there's the stem end where it grows out of the plant, right? And then on the other end, you cut a little X, and then you boil a big pot of water. And you put the tomatoes in for like a couple minutes. You'll see the skin start to split. And then it peels you take them out, rinse them off, you know, and they peel real easy. Well, I found another trick on the internet, I think, where I do the same thing. I do that splitting, put a little X in the end, and then I throw them in the freezer. And I did that last night, so they're still a little frozen. This isn't as smooth as it normally would be. You could do it in a, if you want to save in-season tomatoes and then do something with them later in the year or whatever. This is a great, just put them in a bag in the freezer, and then when you're ready to use them, thaw them out, and the skins pop off like if you had done the dipping them in boiling water situation. Just use the knife to pull out the stem end. Boop. So what we're using here is 20. Yeah, these aren't quite thawed yet, but you get the idea. I promise you it works. 20 Roma tomatoes. With the skins off. Leave the seeds and everything in. It's fine. It's like a very rustic chili sauce we end up with. And there we go. This is pila tomatoes. I had Rob take these out. He got up earlier than I did. I should have got my lazy ass out of bed, but I didn't get up until it was almost time for TMS. So, but they came out about 9, and it's 1 now. So they could probably use another hour. If they were in a bag instead of, I just had them in, I just put them in a big Tupperware container because I just did it yesterday and I knew I was using them today. I'm going to break these up too. Yeah, icy. I knew I was going to use them today. If they were in a bag, I could have just thrown the bag and sealed in some hot water to hurry this up. But oh, I'm so happy to finally see some good looking tomatoes. Yerp. Yerp. Get that stem out of there. Stem's giving me grief today. I should maybe pull out a smaller knife to mess with that. You can always pull them out of the batch later. Appointment Wednesday. Okay. Man, should have shut off my notifications. What's all this crap? I'll pull these out. Some of these frozen ones are keeping each other frozen. Not okay. Making my life harder. Let me get a smaller knife. There we go. Oh, yep. I mean, not exactly pro level. We're a home cook here. So, I can't believe I spent years trying to figure this shit out, and then it was so easy proportion-wise. Oops, don't want to lose that juice. But getting it just right made a difference. 20 tomatoes, 6 onions. I mean, that's not super precise because medium onions doesn't really mean anything, right? 4 cups of vinegar, 4 cups of sugar, 8 to 10 hot peppers. Boil the shit out of it and can it. Thank me later. When my friend in the Frog Pants community made it, he added garlic, and he said that was lovely. I'm so loath to change it. I mean, I like garlic in everything. More garlic never hurt anything. But I still haven't made the addition for my regular batches. If I have a bumper crop of tomatoes myself, I'm just trying to use up, maybe I'll go ahead and screw around with more variations. But for me, it's about keeping it stocked in the fridge for the whole year. How did I run out? I think I gave away more than I usually do last year. Oh, and I sold some at a craft fair, which I don't normally do. Not a lot. I also donated some to a fundraiser that they had going on over at the coffee shop. I don't remember what the fundraiser's for, but it's a basket raffle. Okay, let's get these stems out. While these frozen ones are still thawing. It's funny, I put this on so much stuff that I like to use the Frank's Red Hot tagline, like I put that shit on everything. Um, but I've never put it on wings. Oh, anybody who's seen, I want some input. If y'all watched, good to know. The car wash, is it an Auto Bell? Sorry. There's like a 5-star here, and there aren't really, the only attendants are standing at the beginning guiding you in. They don't even wipe stuff down for you, so that one doesn't really tip. Anyway, anyone who's watching my chicken wing stream, or if you go back and watch it, by the way, any streams you want to catch from the past, I do archive to YouTube. So if you want to go see other stuff I've made that you missed, or you want to rewatch, you can find those on YouTube. Also 9 of 12 there. That wing sauce I ended up making for the oven wings, with the honey that I kind of get to a soft ball stage and turn into a garlicky toffee. There's a local bar and restaurant called Red Buffalo. It is owned by my friend Joe Bondi, who's also from Buffalo. And they're having this like wing fest thing, and you can enter your hot sauce. Cool. And I'm curious if you think I should enter that one. They want you to drop your sauce off for them to try it to get entry. The only thing with that is I feel like I'm going to have to talk to Joe or talk to whoever is going to be preparing it. Like, I can drop off a sample of the sauce, but you really got to make it and then toss hot wings in it. It depends on the hot wings to kind of distribute, like melt it and get it onto the wing. I mean, I guess it can't hurt to try, but I think it's like a 70. I can't. The poster's also weird. It says a $75 entrance fee, and I don't know if that means to enter the contest, because there's a prize which isn't even that. And then it says what you get. Like, they give you some wings to toss for people to try. I don't know if that $75 ticket is like the entry fee for people to come in, and what they get is to test the wings and vote on it. I'm not sure. The documentation isn't super clear. They have a trivia there Wednesday nights. I might go tomorrow and try to get more clarification. But let me know if you think I should try to enter that sauce. I also have another weird... my brain's doing a weird thing about it because being from Buffalo, although that's to me a very specific thing, right? Like the tradition, the sauce, it's Frank's. It's Frank's Red Hot and butter. And that's what Buffalo wings are. I mean, you can call all kinds of things hot wings, toffee wings, lemon pepper wings, like, but something about the contest and then entering something so out of the box as like this honey garlic thing feels like a betrayal to my Buffalo roots. Definitely overthinking is what I'm going to guess people will say. But, feel free to pop into my Discord or whatever. I should have hit /Discord so my bots woke up, but whatever. DM me however you want. Let me know if you think I should enter this contest. Okay. I promise this is easier if you let them thaw all the way. You can just kind of squish them and the skin stays in your hand. I just didn't let them thaw enough. The method works just as well as the boiling water one, in my opinion. If I were canning the tomatoes, like for a sauce, I would do this. If I were just canning the tomatoes without cooking them down into chili sauce, I might be more careful and use the boiling method instead of freezer method, because you're freezing it, right? So the flesh of the tomato, it's breaking down a lot of those cell walls, which if you're trying to make some nice whole canned tomatoes, you don't not want that much breakdown. So for just canning tomatoes, I wouldn't use this method, I will say. Oh, another thing I want to say about if y'all watched or you go watch my cabbage rolls, my galumki stream that I forgot to mention while I made them, you can use like Swiss chard to make rolls like that, and it's a great option. It's a lot easier. You don't have to like the freezer method I use for the cabbage is awesome. But with the Swiss chard, you don't have to go that far because it's a real quick dunk in water instead of to tenderize them so that you can roll them instead of the bullshit with like a whole head of cabbage you're trying to maneuver in and out of a. I'm gonna turn this burner on out of a pot of water, which is just a pain in the ass and dangerous, in my opinion. Peel tomato. Bloop. Bloop. Good. There's a fine line between what's easier. Thawed all the way is easy, but frozen has its own appeal with peeling large sections. But if it's like too much in the middle, it gets harder. But I feel like you lose less of the tomato this way than the boiling thing as well. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've never like gone crazy weighing each gram of my product here. It's home cooking. It doesn't have to be that specific. Awesome. Ooh, I see a piece of skin I missed. That's okay. Those will separate out on their own as we cook. I had to figure out what I'm going to talk about while we cook. Well, we're about 45 minutes in. I don't know if any ads have run yet. I don't even remember what I have them set to. But I've only got like one tomato left after this to get in here, so then we'll start stirring and get the rest of our liquids in. Don't want to start the heat too early with all these solids in here because we're not sauteing, we're not browning, we're not doing any of that to our vegetables. All right. Cool. All that aside, spoon in pocket. Now let's make sure this is on. It is on. I got it to max right now just because I need to come up to temperature. And let's add our liquid. I'm going to take off my gloves. I hate working in gloves, by the way. Ugh, just don't like it. I'm going to go with the vinegar first. 4 cups of vinegar. Let me double check, right? 4 and 4? Yes. 4 cups of vinegar. I'm going to have just enough, I think. I will say, let's give a reminder for those of you who don't know that do any canning and that kind of thing, pickling. Look at your vinegar label. Make sure it says 5% acidity. Some years ago, I don't know if it was a cost-saving thing, whatever. Well, there's a few reasons to make sure and check your vinegar. 5% acidity is the level of acidity you want to be safe while you're canning. They dilute with water. That's normal. All vinegar pretty much is. But um, uh, sometimes it's like 4%, and no, it's wrong. It's not safe. Don't use that. Another thing is if you're using apple cider vinegar in a recipe, some of them are not apple cider vinegar. Trying to think if Great Value is guilty of this. But some things are labeled like cider vinegar, and then they're simply vinegar and they have caramel color in them. Like they're not an apple cider vinegar at all. And that taste wise is very significant. Like apple cider vinegar is made from freaking apples. And it has a mother, which if you're fermenting a pickle instead of just hot brining a pickle, I imagine that would be an actual problem if you don't have a mother to start it. If you need an explanation of that, I guess ask in the chat. Okay, now 4 cups of sugar. I normally do this in a taller stock pot. This is my first time using this for it. Should fit. The salt, the sugar dissolves, right? 1, 2, 3, and cool. Used up this bag. I still have a jar. There's a piece of onion. Boop. Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry, I should shut off my alerts, but everybody's bothering me today. Oh, pretty litter. Okay. 4. And pinch for good luck. Is my sugar. All right, let's put this in here. I don't know what this clip is for. I have a clip over here. Oh, it was the clip for my sugar. All right, so here we go. We just mix it up. Oh, big hunk of onion. We'll just get rid of it. It's fine. The tomatoes will break down. This will eventually be a chili sauce. Perils of using the food processor. Miss some onion chunks. Not worried about cutting up the tomatoes. They will break down. The little bits of red from the jalapeno make it a little prettier. And this is going to take longer to come to temp than it would, of course, if my tomatoes weren't frozen, because I'm a genius. I want a good bit of stirring here because I want the sugar to dissolve. I want to make sure there's no undissolved sugar. It's plenty of liquid to dissolve it. Just the Morena doesn't dissolve quite as easily as a white sugar. So you do want to keep an eye and stir it occasionally. When I go give blood, it'll be, let me see what time. It's 1:15. I think I'm giving blood at 3. So it'll be well into the boil. And I'm going to have to ask my husband or my kids to check on it and stir it, because once it's thickened up, it can end up sticking on the bottom. The directions, let's say, cut up peppers, onions, and tomatoes, add rest of ingredients, and cook uncovered on low heat until mixture thickens. Stir frequently. It burns easily on the bottom. Pour into sterile hot jars and seal. No need to process. That's all the directions. The burns easily on the bottom are directions that came from my family. I have found it does not really burn very easily on the bottom, especially if you've got it in nice low heat. But later, when it's thicker, you definitely want to run a spoon around and check it just to make sure it doesn't. I'm going to cut this smaller. One of the people that sampled my hot sauce when I sold it at the craft fair last year, like, oh, they like lost it with hot, and it was because I had this. They got a bite that had just a hunk of pepper in it like that. So it's generally pretty friendly to everyone. I make it like a medium. But peppers are unpredictable. Now I know this looks like not as an appetizing a color as you might think, but I promise when all these tomatoes break down and it cooks down, it gets a beautiful, beautiful red. It already smells like Papa's hot sauce. My house is gonna smell so good today. Oh my gosh. I think my food processor blade needs sharpening or replacing. It really should behave better than that, in my opinion. And I think I'm going to bring my shears out and hack some of these tomatoes smaller. Like I said, cooking will just totally break them down. But being that I started with more frozen than I thought we were going to be dealing with. And of course, you don't have to, freeze them. If you want to do them from fresh and just not take a day to freeze them, go ahead and do that method I talked about where cut a little cross in the bottom and dip them in boiling water and the skins will slip off for you. Oh, here I am not gloved, ruining my hands. Damn it. I tell you how hard it is to like not wet your hands, but that's what the doctor said. Autoimmune disease, let me tell you, buddy, it sucks. Freaking nightmares. You never know what's going to happen. I'm just grateful it wasn't my eyes this time. Okay, let's rinse this off. I think I got all the biggest pieces. I haven't eaten today. Yeah, the sneaky vinegar thing. I hate to think that people got sick because they just didn't read the label. Because, I mean, it's just kind of been the standard to have that 5% acidity when you buy vinegar. And I am very glad that other people in, cooking communities and that do canning. I'm trying to think if it's been mentioned. I bet it's in my ball canning book to check. But those books have been around forever. So it may not have been as big a concern. Let me see. This is the Ball Blue book, by the way. Small book, incredibly valuable. You can see I've got some bookmarks in it. I've got this linen one that my friend wove for me on a loom and mailed me just, I don't know, I got it in the mail one day like, oh, I found these made a while ago and I knew you'd appreciate it and you're so nice or whatever. This is a bookmark. My friend Lisa, she was a librarian, died a couple years ago. And wow, was it 2 years ago now? And I laminated this, but they had these at the library when they did a memorial for her. It's got a Sylvia Plath quote, that's her favorite author, and and some of her favorite books on it. Um, so what am I marking in here? Let's see. I don't know. Oh, beets. I guess I was looking up beets when I canned cases of beets that the food pantry needed to serve, but this doesn't have any spices in it, so this isn't the recipe I used. What do I have marked in here? Oh, beet pickles. Yep, I think it was this one. I didn't use pickle crisp, but oh no, rhubarb sauce. There's a ketchup recipe. I think I wanted to mark everything on this page. Sugar, cinnamon, allspice, vinegar, water. Yep. Okay. Let's see if kind of in the intro, and we're almost at an hour. Perfect. Canning basics. What you need to know: understand the pH value of food, selecting the method. So it's probably right here in the front if they mention it. Molds, yeast, bacteria, enzymes. pH value of foods. I should probably be over here. You can see the book. Selecting the canning method. What to look for in a canner. Like for a small book, this is the Bible. I mean, and it's Ball branded. That's another thing you want to look at if you ever can, is getting Ball, Mason. What's the other brand? There's one other brand of jars that I kind of trust, but there's a lot of knockoff jars that, if they're not tempered carefully, you get exploding jars. It's not worth it. Boiling water pressure method. Glass home canning jars. But Ball jars are USDA checked and tested. Metal lids and bands, getting ready. How to, lids, bands, pressure processing, testing, storage. Never use rings that have any rust on them. Don't reuse your lids. Some of them say you can. Also, not worth it. Sweeteners, fruits, syrups. And goes there in the recipe. So I think it just doesn't even mention, like, check your vinegar. This is if anybody in my Discord saw, or I think it was the Frog Pants Discord, we were sharing what books are on our cookbook shelf and which ones are in our kitchen cookbook shelf. That one's on my kitchen cookbook shelf. I've only actually owned it a couple years, but I'm really glad I do own it now. Okay, so we've been at it about an hour. I appreciate anybody who showed up. And I hope that you try this. I will be back later. I'm going to stream tonight, and you'll be able to see what this looks like later when it cooks down into a gorgeous chili sauce. My Papa's hot sauce. I should trademark that. You can't copyright a recipe, but you can trademark shit. And I thought about renaming it. What was the other name? Because I'm concerned that it's misleading to call it hot sauce, right? Because when people think hot sauce, they think of, let me show you. Not that I need to show you what you think, but something like this, right? Which I did also make. This is vinegar based. It's not fermented, but it's a cooked hot sauce. It's made with peppers that I grew. Well, me and my friend Scott Rubin has a major pepper harvest every year. That banner on my cooking site is he let me come over and pick all the peppers, and I had so many peppers to sort out. I think it was a couple years ago, and that's the year I made this, and it's still good, nice and hot. I only have this bottle left because somebody was going to buy it and hasn't met up with me to get it. Pow pow, it's sneaky. Um, and I started with a recipe. The basic recipe is from my friend Sean Weiland, my co-host on Tipple Theory. And this is all that's left. I put some in like a big pour bottle like I use for my simple syrups for the house, and my son used it for wings enough time that he used it all up, and I gave a bunch away. And I sold a couple bottles, but that one just didn't sell because the guy didn't show up. So I should probably just use it. Maybe I'll make hot sauce again soon. There's a book I want. If anybody looks at my Amazon list for Dine at 9 or my Throne and ever wants to help me out, I've got a bunch of stuff there. Little things, bigger things. I'm trying to get a GoPro. I think that's on my Throne so that I could do grilling and smoking outside with y'all. There's a One Piece cookbook. I'm on a One Piece kick right now, and Sanji's my man. I think there's still a fermenting hot sauce recipe from stuff I want to try. Yeah, there's little things, and yeah, on the Throne list you can like put in a portion, pitch in towards stuff, but the Amazon is just like, help me out here. So we'll be back this afternoon slash evening to see the end of this. And I'll be able to show you the texture and talk about what it tastes like and show you the putting it into some jars. And then it'll be nothing left but the labeling. I appreciate you being here today, and I look forward to cooking with you soon.